So we're wearing the traditional Norwegian dress. It's called the bunad.
Norwegians football crazy.
Norway is playing the opening match with New Zealand in Auckland, so I'm going to be there. That is exciting, and of course it's always exciting when your national team is doing really well. And football definitely is a big sport in Scandinavia, so it really is one of the things that connect us and is part of our DNA and our identity, so I'm excited about it.
We will be listening to Norwegian radio through the app, and you get the news that way, and it's much more engaging. So that's actually changed dramatically. They're having access to Norwegian radio here in Australia. You engage with the sentiments back in Norway. So that's really, really awesome.
Especially Norway being so far away from Australia, right? Having someone like one of the important big events for Norwegian happening here and actually be able to partake in, I think that's super cool.
We're really excited to go watch them.
Hopefully they win.
It's bringing people together, and I think it's exciting.
Yeah, they will kill it.
Let's go for gold.
Oh no, yeah!
I was born in Belfast, and I came out with my family in 1975. And there was mummy, daddy, granny, 5 children. We all went to Sydney, and now we're spread about the place. But I came to Canberra about 20 years ago, and when I had time, I became involved in, I guess, cultural things that meant a lot to me, but I'm also the chair of Cultus, the Cultus branch. It started in 1951 in Ireland, mainly to promote Irish culture. I have an allegiance to Ireland and Australia, and I am keen to pass that on to my children and grandchildren as well. This is the biggest women's competition that has ever happened this part of the world, and it's so fantastic that Ireland have qualified. It's extraordinary. And the fact that they're going to, play the Matildas on the 20th of July is, to me, such a thrill.
Come on, the girls in green! Woo!
Deve vincere l'Italia, perché l'Italia è la più nazione del mondo.
So I was born in Italy, so I came over here when I was 1, so I didn't really, and we sort of grew up in a house where we just spoke Italian, so going to school was a bit hard, but we got there and we turned out all right.
I mean, it's just a part of who we are. It goes back generations, as you can see. I think Nonna was watching football from when she was a child, and I mean, it's in the Italian blood to be a little bit fiery. So I think sport's a great way to bring that out, and yeah, that means that we can show our support of our country, and it's something we're really passionate about.
Yeah, follow the football, yeah, and I have 3 boys and a daughter, and they all played soccer from when they were 6 years old. So we've been going for years in the cold and freezing. So yeah, it's been umbrellas, raincoats on through thick and thin. Yeah, the boys played every year, and we loved watching them. Bring Nonna along, everybody would go, and it's nice.
Yeah, Nonna's confidence is really high in the Italian women. I definitely want to be able to bring a little bit of that on board. I think they'll give it a real red hot go. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
Perché l'Italia è il numero 1.
Football, that's pretty much what I've been living for the last, my 40 years that I've been around. Backed this club for the last, which is Fraser Park, for the last 40 years. Followed my parents around and watching pretty much every game, first grade match, and now coaching for the last 10 years.
I played here at Fraser Park. I was a teenager from I think 1997, 98 to I think about 2003. And obviously over the years, the connection of the migrants from Portugal all grew up here as well, played football, and it's always been a massive part, a local community here, the Portuguese community.
For us, it's a big deal, and it'll be good to see the girls play, or the women play in Australia.
More excited than the Men's World Cup here. If they verse the men's, they'd win.
It'll be fantastic anyway to see everyone coming together, because it's one of the biggest sports in the world. World Cup coming to Australia, it will bring a lot of attention to it, especially the world as well, and overseas as well.
It'll be good to see a Portugal-Australia final. Australia's first, but we've got backup in Portugal. Viva Portugal!
I think in Switzerland we can definitely see that it brings together all the different nationalities. And when you look at the national team or all the teams, it's a mix of Swiss people but also people who have joined Switzerland in the past few years.
It's a challenge, but it's great that they actually made it in the qualification. I love watching the women's game. It's so technical and they're really, really good. I hope the Swiss team will do well.
In the past few years, the women's football has grown massively, which is really exciting, I think.
So we are here to test raclette tonight.
The raclette is just a beautiful traditional Swiss dish that we have generally in the winter when it's cold outside or after skiing.
You let the cheese melt and you grab a potato and you can even grab some cornichons and some onions and you make a nice mix. If you're into meat, you can also mix it up with some meat with a bit of pepper on top and it's the best.
It's something that's very communal, something we come together to have, in family and friends.
And it's a nice thing to do as well in a group because no one has to be in the kitchen cooking because you're literally cooking for yourself.
We all together in this. It's sharing really in the best sense.
Hop Schweiz!
Alle Swiss!
Alle Swiss!
Alle Swiss!
You can take the Swede out of Sweden, but you can't take Sweden out of a Swede. You're Swedish, that's it, you're Swedish. And football, it's just a big thing in Sweden, it's really big.
I think football in general is a big deal in Sweden. It's part of everyday life and it's really the foundation of the Swedish culture in a way. And you grow up with football in school and throughout life. The fact that the Swedish women's team is doing so great is amazing.
I've always, since I was a young girl, all my friends, the guys have all played soccer and I got more and more into it and I followed it throughout the years, so I really enjoy it and I particularly like the Swedish women team.
Fantastic to have the World Cup here, it's absolutely amazing. I can't wait to give back some of my time to what football has given me throughout the years. I'm going to volunteer for FIFA World Cup. I feel like it's my turn to give back to football what that has given me. And I want to show the whole world what a beautiful country Australia is and what it has to give and promote Australia as well as promoting the ladies soccer. So the Swedish ladies team is second in the world ranking, USA on top, but I think we can win this year.
We're going to get together and put all our energy and support into beating Australia, essentially, in the final. The problem, of course, is that the team in Australia is being coached by a Swedish coach. So we'll see how that goes.
My uncle lives in Australia. He moved in the 70s, so he took his family from France. Then my mum and dad used to come for a holiday. And in my 20s, went on holiday with my parents, spent a year. I love this country so much that I really wanted to come back here. So I call myself a frothy. I think, France and football, it's like it's a national sport. Apart from rugby, I think we all live for soccer. And if I look at international soccer, looking at the last World Cup, I think there's some people from different backgrounds that everyone watching the soccer game could identify with one of the players on the field. And looking at the last game, I think they want to have fun. When they play together, the French, they're very much into having fun together, and that really was something that demonstrated in the last World Cup. So fun, a sense of winning, but a sense of pride. We all trying to gang some few French people to go to the first game on the 14th of July, France against Australia. I'll be on the French side. French in the heart, French in the heart. I'll always be French for sport, always be French.
Vive la France et allez les Bleus, on va gagner! Hvem var det, der vandt i dag? Det var fra Danmark af. Hey, hey, hey!
Danish people really love celebrating. We are known as the Roligan. Roli means calm.
I grew up in a Danish family and it's something that we've always had in the family. So something I guess I was pretty much born into.
I think it's something I'm born with. It's in the blood of every Dane, I think. We are born with it like you're born with AFL in Melbourne, really.
Yeah, I think the Danish culture was just fantastic. So it's something that we have very differently here. You really feel that you're in a small country, living in a country like Denmark.
So we're not hooligans, we're not angry, we just love it and we just want to have a good time. Have a party, really. I think that's really Danish, have a party and have a good time.
It's so ingrained, I think everybody knows what's going on, whether it's the men's or the women's. Soccer is just a part of everyday life over there.
I think they'll go well. I think they're in a tough group, and I think all groups are tough, but they are in a group with England, and England is the European champions. So, but I think we can go through.
Back for the first time in many years, so I think they're going to be fresh, they're going to be ready and really wanting a win out of this. But you know what? We'll just have to wait and see.
I think we can definitely pull it off. I'm not scared.
Go Denmark!
Go de rød-hvide!
I reckon they'll go very well because Spain always has lots of support for their teams regardless of their genders. Spain revolves around football alongside many other European countries. I played a lot of football when I was there in Spain. It's essentially the blood of the country. Every park, every bit of grass you see, there's always someone playing football. I remember living in Spain when I was around 6 to 7 years old, and it was absolutely fantastic. I remember going to school would finish around 1 p.m. and I would come home, have something to eat for lunch, and then I'd go back to school until 2 to 5 p.m. and it was just incredible being able to spend so much time with my family. I really believe that with the group they're in, facing Costa Rica, Spain has got a good chance to really win the World Cup this year. I definitely believe that with the exposure to this competition, lots of girls and boys will pick up a soccer ball rather than any other sport and really focus on how magical this game is. It's good to bring awareness that skill can transcend any gender and that it's a really good opportunity to break those stereotypes that women aren't as good as the men, because really it's just as good of a game and they're just as good. Vamos España!